It is once again time. The Royal Rumble 2007, along with the Monday Night Raw that came after it. I'm the other guy with the MTOMR reviews. Haven't been here since the last pay-per-view, mostly because most of the episodes have sucked since then. We had the Slammies, which were garbage, and every other episode after that was garbage. But we finally had some decency here. One thing I gotta ask the people before I get started on this review is, MTO has finally risen from the dead. He said he wishes to save you guys a sob story, so I won't say it either. But he wants to know, what do you guys want us to upload first? We have the AJ Lee career video where I get in touch with a side that not a lot of you people have ever seen me. As a matter of fact, there might have been a few tears shed in the recording of that, but I don't know if you want to see that. Or you could get Bella's Q&A, which, by the way, is something I'm probably going to forget about, so I might as well talk about it now. Apparently, Nikki Bella has an injury. It's a serious injury where she could potentially be out for the rest of her career. Like, this could be it. Like, she's done. It's a sad thing, actually, because even though I'm not a Bella fan myself, I can appreciate the effort, the improvement that she's made over her career. I don't know, it would just really suck, especially for MTO, because this guy really loves Nikki. So pray for Nikki. If not for anybody, do it for MTO, because if Nikki never comes back, I can damn near guarantee you he won't make any videos ever again in his life. But anyway, yeah, you can get the Bella's Q&A, which he'll probably insert something about her injury in that if you vote for that. And also there's a Hell in a Cell Q&A that he was supposed to do that kind of got pushed back because of reasons. So yeah, whichever video you guys want, be sure to mention down below in the comment box. Alright, the Royal Rumble. Overall, I thought the Royal Rumble was boring. Even though I said we finally get some decency. Guess what, Ray? I lie. This was a boring Royal Rumble, and I don't know if maybe it was just me because I was tired from work that day and I got home and I felt like I had to sit through it just because I wanted to see what was going to happen, kind of. But god damn, was this a fucking snore fest. Alright, the first match of the night was Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens. What I'm tired of seeing is everyone on the fucking internet jizzing over any Kevin Owens match. I mean, Jesus Christ. Alright, admittedly, I don't think this guy sucks. But you guys are making it really hard to like this guy. Because this match had like 2 good spots. And the rest of it was either shit we've seen before or shit that just could have been done in a regular match that didn't need the last man standing stipulation. Alright? If this is supposed to get me into the show, it didn't. And it's not just the people that go on the internet after the show. It's the fans that attend the show because they chanted, "This is awesome," and "Holy shit" for fucking everything. Like, I literally think if Kevin Owens sneezed in the middle of the ring, people would chant, "This is awesome." Alright? But, I mean, it's pretty funny how far these Kevin Owens fanboys take it. It's like they get even more butthurt over us saying that he's fat than he does. Anyway, again, this is just, I guess, an okay match because it had 2 decent spots. The ending spot and the one where Kevin Owens did the reverse suplex onto the table. But aside from that, this match was nothing special. And I don't care if I get shit for it. I did not like this match very much. The New Day versus the Usos for the Tag Team Championships. A terrible match. This was sloppy. This was all over the place. You guys know that I'm not usually one to crap on stuff. I like to look at the positive side of things for the most part. But you know what? I have a new lease on life. I think the social outcast. I think Curtis Axel has given me a new lease on life because you know what? The chains are off. This was a bad match. It was sloppy. It didn't make any sense. I didn't care about it. And the Usos never deserved a tag team title match. The only good thing about this match was the promo that the New Day cut before it started, where Xavier Woods admitted to having sex with trombones, which kind of gives new meaning to trombone, if you know what I'm saying. And one thing that I thought was funny was that during the match, Big E and Jimmy Uso tried to break the barricade, and they couldn't do it. So what's funny is that Kevin Owens is fat enough where he does a little flip, he can break the barricade. But yet all of Big E and Jimmy Uso can't break it themselves. Anyway, thank God the New Day won. I was actually afraid that the Usos might walk out champions. And even though I actually like the Usos, that would have been the stupidest decision the WWE could make, is take the belts off the New Day before WrestleMania. Anyway, after the New Day wins, one thing I saw was Big E's stroke game, and I think it rivals that of Johnny Sins. And anybody who doesn't know who Johnny Sins is, if you Google him, I think you'll realize that you're lying to yourself if you say you don't know who Johnny Sins is. Alright, the next match was Alberto Del Rio versus Kalisto for the United States Championship. This is my gripe with this, okay? What was the point of having Del Rio lose the belt again? Are you trying to prove something? Is the WWE trying to prove that it is unpredictable? Because it just seems like one of those girlfriends that's like, that I guess the fans are the boyfriend, and the girlfriend threatens to leave him, and he doesn't take her serious, and then he leaves her, and then she leaves him just to prove a point, even though she never wanted to leave him, and then she wants him back. This is exactly what I pictured in this whole saga of the United States Championship. This was another sloppy match, and one funny thing, commentary note here, was when Michael Cole in the beginning of the match said, and I quote, "Del Rio is the greatest athlete of our generation." That's a direct quote from Michael Cole. Alright? And I don't even dislike Del Rio. I used to really like Del Rio until he got stale and boring. Now he's just meh to me. But to hear that he's one of the greatest athletes of our generation, and I think about guys like Kurt Angle and... yeah, Kurt Angle. I don't know, it kind of makes me think, like, alright, I understand that he's a jobber, so this is probably the only way you could put him over. Anyway, speaking of commentary, one thing that I thought was hilarious was at one point in the match, Kalisto botched. He kind of just fell after trying to do like a Hurricane Rana or something, or he tried to do his little flip that turns into a sunset flip, and he just fell and rolled him up, and Michael Cole said, "What is he doing? Oh, this is like the innovative offense of Kalisto." So if you fall flat on your ass and roll somebody up, you have innovative offense. Anyway, Kalisto ends up winning the United States Championship back. Again, a sloppy match, not good. Yawn. Alright, so the next match, believe it or not, was the only match that I cared about. Aside from the Royal Rumble match, I guess you could say, to an extent. It was Becky Lynch versus Charles Flair for the Divas Championship. And you know what? My hat's off to Becky Lynch. Because you know what? She played the underdog role really well. She got me invested into this storyline. She got me into this storyline, believe it or not. And Becky Lynch made a fan out of me during this feud. It might have something to do with the fact that I don't like Charles. But whatever the case may be, I am now a Becky Lynch fan. And I always thought Becky Lynch was the best one out of Team PCB. But I never really bought into her until now. I will credit Charles, though. I think he did a fantastic job of selling me into this feud as well. I mean, I don't like him to begin with, and he played his heel role, I guess you could say, particularly well. One thing that I find weird, though, is that his fans are just crying that he's acting like Dick Flair. But Dick Flair is the only reason that Charles is tolerable to watch on television. And it's the only thing that's making this guy interesting. So I don't understand what these Charles Flair fans think when they say Dick Flair should not be out there with Charles. Because Charles needs dick to be entertaining. It's as easy as that. It's as simple as that. Without dick, Charles is nothing, okay? This had really good chain sequences in the beginning of the match, and it kind of picked up as the match ended and the match went on. One thing that I guess I disliked about the match was the ending. I thought the finish was a little bit too predictable. That's about it. I mean, they just had Charles win the same way that he won, I think, against her on Raw a few weeks ago. So I didn't like that. But I guess aside from that, this match was well worked. Good chain wrestling. And then after the match, Sasha Banks comes out. And this is one thing about Sasha Banks, right? This is one thing I want, a side note on Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. Sasha Banks is one that I got into because I started to buy into the hype. And then I saw her matches and I was like, okay, that's cool. She really is as good as advertised. Whereas with Becky Lynch, even though people do give her credit online, it was one thing where she kind of systematically grew on me. And I don't know, I think that's what one of the things that I appreciate and respect more about Becky Lynch than Sasha Banks, to a point where it actually kind of made me upset to think that Sasha Banks is going to waltz in to the Divas Championship picture and just kick Becky Lynch out of it. I don't know. I mean, by the looks of it on Raw, Sasha Banks isn't completely kicking Becky Lynch out of it, but whatever. As long as we don't have to see Charles and his weak-ass spear face someone that sucks at WrestleMania, I'll be happy. The Royal Rumble match. Oh my god. I was so happy with the finish of this match. Going in, I was thinking, I want Triple H to win this match so fucking bad. Just because I didn't want Roman Reigns to win, because then people would hate him again. And even I would start to dislike him just because he's been booked like Superman the past couple of weeks. And this would just be the icing on the cake, or the nail in the coffin might be a more appropriate metaphor. And his goose would be cooked. But I had this sinking feeling that maybe Bray Wyatt would win, which would be random and kind of like out of nowhere, because Bray Wyatt's kind of been a jobber for the past 2 years. There was a thing where you thought maybe Lesnar would win, but then Lesnar versus Reigns was the main event last year, and I don't really want to see the same main event 2 years in a row, as much as I did like that match. So the only thought in my head was, I want Triple H to come back at number 30 and win this son of a bitch. And what the fuck happened? He came back at 30 and he won the son of a bitch. Now I'm going to talk about a few points that I actually liked about the match, because for the most part, I thought this Rumble match sucked. I'm going to be completely honest. Like a few years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, when Batista won, the match itself was fun, it was entertaining, but the winner sucked. This one was the complete opposite, okay? The match was boring, it was predictable, it was uninteresting, and I wanted to fall asleep throughout. But the winner made up for the sucky match. Now, another highlight from this match was entrant number 3. Usually, I'm quick to hate the indie guys, like the guys that the internet just fucking jizzes over every time they see him on television. But AJ Styles is a guy that I've liked since I was a little kid. He got me into TNA. He was my favorite superstar on TNA while he was there for the longest. So even though I realize he's not the strongest on the mic and all his money is in the ring, and I usually hate guys like that, this guy has sentimental value to me. So that's one reason why I actually like AJ Styles. And I am excited to see what he's going to do in the WWE. Something that I never thought I would see in my wildest dreams. So yeah, hopefully they get him a mouthpiece, because admittedly he's not very good on the mic. But the way I heard the WWE is paying him like what they pay Cena and Brock Lesnar, and that's fucking outrageous, because AJ Styles I don't think is near the caliber of those guys in terms of drawing power, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. So something that we got out of this was, it looks like Bray Wyatt is going to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania for whatever reason. God knows why. But you know what? I'll take it. This is about, I think, as interesting a feud as Bray Wyatt can have at this point. And I think a clean win over Brock Lesnar, I don't think it would solidify him. I don't think it would bring his credibility back. But it's at least a step in the right direction to beat the guy at WrestleMania that beat the streak. So, one thing that I said I didn't want to happen was Roman Reigns overcoming all the odds at number 1 and winning the damn thing. And of course, halfway through the match, you have the League of Nations attack Roman Reigns. This is one thing me and my jobber friend that was watching it with me said while this was happening. Why the fuck didn't they just throw him in the ring and then toss him back out? I understand that they were saving it for Triple H, but throw kayfabe out the window for a second. Alright? Throw out the fact that you know that they're not going to get rid of their guy in the middle of the match. Logically speaking, from a kayfabe point of view, why the fuck didn't they just throw him in the ring and toss him back out? Or let somebody in there pick the bones to throw him out. He's the number 1 target in the fucking match, and all you did was attack him on the outside. But whatever. One thing that was hilarious, though, was that Rusev took the television and then he mentioned it on Twitter that he was a TV champion. I gotta tell you guys, Rusev has really won me over as well. But anyway, I'm getting off track here. The Roman Reigns thing. What bothered me was not just that. It was the fact that when he came back, it seemed as if he never missed a step. He never missed a beat. He didn't act hurt at all. He didn't sell it. I'm assuming that they told him not to sell it because they want to book him like Superman. Because I doubt Roman Reigns would just go out there and be like, I got to do this for my family. Family's number 1. I'm not hurt. Believe that. So yeah, there was that, but thank God Triple H won. I am really happy with the way this Royal Rumble ended. But if you're asking me where I would rank this in my Royal Rumble matches in history, this wouldn't make the top 5 Rumble matches of 2016. Okay? Put it that way. Anyway, overall, I thought the show was boring. I didn't think it was very good. The only thing I liked was the guy who won the Royal Rumble, Charles versus Becky Lynch, and I guess kind of Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens, but I didn't like it enough to say that I liked it, so fuck that. Anyway, yeah, that's about it. On to the Raw review, so if you didn't want to hear the Royal Rumble review, this is it. Monday Night Raw, January 25th, 2016. You know what? For as cringeworthy as some segments were on this episode of Monday Night Raw, I think the good outweighed the bad here, even though the good was at a minimum. So we started off with the Authority coming out saying they broke Roman Reigns. They broke his heart. This is something like this is some corny shit that, like, I don't know, CM Punk would say. Like, in the end of his run, CM Punk used to say some corny shit like, I'm going to break your face and stuff like that. And Vince McMahon was saying, we broke Roman Reigns' heart in 2. I'm like, this is, like, really corny. This is bad. This is not something that the fucking Mr. McMahon character would say. He'd say something like, fuck you, Roman Reigns. I'll rape your wife. And I'll rape your daughter. Do an incest thing with Stephanie. God damn it. You know, something like that. But this was corny, but whatever. Anyway, Triple H goes on to cut a really good promo. This is exactly why I wanted Triple H to win the championship. He sounded believable. He's probably the best option to be the champion right now because of the razor-thin roster. And I think he brings a sort of legitimacy back to the championship that I think it was lacking after Sheamus put shit stains all over the belt. Anyway, the concept of tonight was they're going to name the number 1 contender at Fastlane, or they're going to have a match at Fastlane to determine who faces Triple H at WrestleMania. And I think it's a good idea to keep Triple H out of Fastlane because God knows that pay-per-view does not deserve Triple H to wrestle on it. But this is one big waste of fucking time. Because everybody knows that Bray Wyatt is going to feud with Brock Lesnar. Dean Ambrose is not going to win the match. So we're basically like being held off to the Roman Reigns versus Triple H match at WrestleMania, even though we fucking know it's gonna happen. This thing really irritates me, is when the WWE does shit like this, they prolong the inevitable. We know Roman Reigns is winning this match. We know Roman Reigns is facing Triple H at WrestleMania. So what's the point in having this match? And what's the point of Fastlane in general? Why don't you just skip the February pay-per-view and build toward WrestleMania starting now? Alright, so I'm only going to talk about the stuff I actually cared about in this episode of Raw from here on out, because there wasn't a lot, but there were some notable things. Alright, for starters, I liked how Becky Lynch was kept into, or at least it looks like they're going to keep her in the Divas Championship feud, because she's actually getting over with the fans. Like, that's one thing that I think is sort of been overlooked in this feud, is that even though it could have been better, she has gotten over with the fans. The fans are kind of starting to dig her. I can hear people chanting, "Let's go Becky," or "Becky this, Becky that," when usually during a Divas match they would chant Randy Savage or other stupid shit like that. And then you have Sasha Banks, who all the fans love. They're all into her. And then you have Charles, who's kind of like forced upon us. Nobody really likes Charles except the bunch of internet guys who like him because he looks like a man, but he's actually a female, so they have the excuse of not being gay. So it looks like we might get a triple threat match at WrestleMania, which I don't really have a problem with. I mean, I like Sasha, I like Becky. That's, as long as Charles doesn't walk out champion, I'll be fine. Alright, Chris Jericho versus AJ Styles. This is one I didn't really want to talk about, but since it is one of my favorite superstars growing up, making his Raw debut, I felt like I kind of had to talk about it. Solid match. There's not much else to say. I just kind of wanted to talk about it just because it's AJ Styles in it. And one thing I liked is that it kind of teased the Jericho heel turn. This is another reason I want to talk about it, because heel Jericho, I think, is really needed right now. We don't need the corny face Jericho, especially the PG Jericho. That's Y2 gay, all right? That's why we called him Y2 gay a few years back. This is why we said all these superstars were gay, because we thought they were acting gay, all right? And Chris Jericho is no exception. Was no exception in this fucking return, or in this run, if you will. But it looks like he teased the heel turn. We're not. It's not a sure thing yet. I don't think he'll feud with AJ Styles, but you know, I could see it happening, and then they have a match at Fastlane or something. But that's about it. Anyway, so then we had the return of The Rock. I just want to point this out to the internet fans who are jizzing over this segment, that you guys were the ones that booed him and wanted to slit his throat and wanted him to have him publicly hanged by his nutsack when he beat your precious CM Punk at the Royal Rumble in 2013, which I still laugh about to this day. Remember, this is the guy that you booed for that. And now look where we are. Your precious hero quit. He went somewhere where he's going to get his ass kicked. And the guy that supposedly squashed your hero is out here making millions of people laugh and making us love him even more. Anyway, this segment was hilarious. This segment brought out the New Day, Lana, even the Big Show was funny in this because he brought back the Crybaby Big Show gimmick, which was awesome. So I don't know. My hat's off to the WWE. This was really well done. And then you had say that he and Lana had sex the last time they came out, which, by the way, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm jealous of The Rock, even if that didn't happen, which I'm pretty sure it didn't. I'm still jealous of The Rock, just because even if you can say on television that you fucked Lana and she admits it, That's worth something. But I heard this was punishment for Lana because she's in the doghouse for having beef with Paige. So Paige is killing Lana's momentum. And it's not enough that she kind of drains the Divas Championship picture whenever she's in it every 5 seconds. But now she's draining my Lana's momentum and making her look like a jobber in front of The Rock. Anyway, that's about everything I wanted to talk about. The main event for Fastlane is set. It's Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar. The winner faces Triple H. It's going to be a complete waste of time. We know who's going to win it. So this whole Fastlane pay-per-view is just a big waste of time. Big waste of energy. A big waste of just everything, actually. There's no need for it. It's not like this is some pay-per-view that's a be-all, end-all show. So, I don't know. If I were on the creative team, Fastlane would not be a thing, but I'm not, and that's why the WWE sucks. Anyway, I think that's about it. Yeah, I pretty much touched on everything I cared about on Raw. I thought the episode of Raw was, I think it was alright, you know. I thought it was enjoyable. I mean, have I seen better? Obviously, yeah. But I think the for the first time in a while, the good outweighed the bad tonight. Anyway, that's about it. Anyway, this has been the other guy for the MTOMR review saying yada yada yada, blah blah blah. Good and bye.